Alright, so as y'all can see, I sort of had a bit of a little Cattus Interruptus here while I was trying to do some of this stuff. Huh, dude? But I did manage to look at that information I was doing. And I also decided to do a little work on some of this. Because on the underside of each of these, there's actually a protective thing that I had to remove from each one, which I went ahead and did, so that's one little step that y'all didn't get to see. So I did each one of these, and each one is a spot where I can install one of these. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Tiny, eh? Hard to believe that this replaces what used to require rooms and rooms of memory decades ago. And now, amazing what technology does when it advances, huh? Alright, so I'm going to carefully put this in. Do not want that to get damaged. Now, just take this panel back in. There. Since that's open now. Use one of the smaller ones, because that's. Yep, I'm going to use one of the smaller ones, because that memory unit is a little too long. Put that back out for a moment. Safe. Since this is too long for that, I'll have to use one of the other slots. And if any of y'all are watching this or wondering what I'm doing what's called counter threading. So as I'm putting the screws back, they do not get tilted wrong, and thus potentially stripping the threads, which would make it a lot more painful to work on later on. Looks like a nice short one, so we'll do this one. Just a little bit for each one. That works a little better. There we go. looks good. Down a little more. Now, another thing I should note for a lot of viewers also that might not know this when you're doing this kind of stuff, never, ever, ever use a power tool on any of this. You want to only use hand tools so you don't put too much force on the stuff you're working on. Because if you damage the board, then you have a problem that you can't resolve. Okay, that's done. So that's the storage medium now installed. Now for the RAM. Again, the last part we're going to save is the CPU, because that will also require us having to take a look at the water cooler to see if there's anything special that, as usually has to, with them, be done to install the water cooler on the CPU. Alrighty. So, first stick around. Don't forget to put the locks back so you can put it in without issue. This way. Nice and click, and this goes in. There's one. And two. So that's the first stick around. Now often you want to test each one just to make sure they all work, but I just want to get this up and running because it's been so long that I'd like to just get everything operational and finally to use this. One, click two. That's the first set. There for now. Open. And some of these packages don't like to behave. There we go. Okay, RAM number 2. Technically 3, but when it comes to RAM, they actually work in what's referred to as pairs. So this looks like it's 4 units, but because of how, again, RAM is designed, they actually will usually work in tandem. So depending on how the channels are set, either these two and these two work together, or these two and these two. Some boards have smaller RAM slots, others have more, but the usual array you'll find is a setup like this where it has 4 slots. Make sure they're all fully seated. Okay, that's all the RAM in. Also the storage. But that just leaves probably the most important part in the CPU. Well, the computer, not CPU. Nothing like a brain moment. The central processor. Now, y'all may or may not have remembered what I told you last time. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this. There's 2 types of CPUs. Intel and AMD does 2 different types. Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it very well, but come on. Now you see all those pins in there? That's the type that AMD uses. Now if even one of those pins gets bent, you basically destroyed your CPU. So you want to be very, very, very careful when you install this. Same thing as for Intel, only the pins on theirs is on the board and it makes contact with the chip. But either way, you want to make sure that you do not damage that, because again, those pins are extremely fragile. If they get damaged, you're basically just destroyed your CPU and no way to fix it. If that's so fragile, you can't unbend those. Alrighty, so we're going to put this right here for the moment. Go over here and retrieve the water cooler. So take a look at that. Like I said, I'm planning to try and get this all done today so I can actually start getting it going to see how it works. It would be nice to actually do some stuff this month. Here. There. Okay. Here. Now. The water cooler. Pretty hefty, but you'll notice when you use certain types of coolers, they actually work differently. So there's a normal heat sink, which does not require anything but a fan and a static component. Then you have water cooler systems that come in two varieties. A already made one and custom ones that you can build and work on yourself. That didn't come through on the mic, but if so, my apologies about my noisy neighbors. Never understood fascination with motorcycles and such, but to each their own, as the saying goes, to each their own. We'll over here for now. Okay. Up there. Oh, and then even those actually have an online manual. Something else I guess I'll have to look at afterwards. Alright. Alright, so you're probably wondering what this is. This is what actually goes on the CPU itself. So this attaches to the CPU, and it's not quite actually a water in most of these units. They have what's referred to as mineral oil and a lot of stuff, because again, water is the death of most electronic stuff. So these kind of things will generally have what's referred to as a mineral oil. There's actually some CPUs where it's hilarious that you can submerge the entire setup in a mineral oil as the cooler. Oh, that's a lot of noise in there. Okay. So, alternate plates for cooking it. Didn't hear that last time. Just gonna stay right there, huh, buddy? Come on, buddy. Alright, now there's going to be a stretching in here somewhere. At least I hope so. Be very careful with this, because I do not want to drop it. Oh, of course there's no guide in here, because I already removed it. Oh, nothing like being intelligent. Okay. So we gotta remove it. This is Sonic. This is Sonic. It's fine. It's fine. And I know I had something in here that was for it, but where did you go? Motherboard. Yes. Also not it. I know I had something I got from them. And like I said, I'm not going to bother editing any of this stuff. I'm just going to make the video and toss it up once it's all done. More entertaining for all y'all watching this anyways. Like that last incident where something fell and I was like, well, that's what you get when your situation is like this. Okay, that's for RAM. This still... I could have swore there was a book for this. I accidentally did something with it. Let's see real quick. Unless it's expecting you to go to the... That would be kind of funny if that's the only manual it has right there. That would also be kind of silly because you don't have a smartphone with a QR reader. That leaves you kind of in a bit of a lurch because you don't know what to do. Kind of like me at the moment, trying to figure out what to do with that. Does not have a guide. Ooh. Sizable, huh? Well, if I can't find the thing, then that means only one thing, that the guide is online, in which case this will be an extra video, so my apologies in advance if that is the case. And from the looks of it, that is the case. So, apologies, but I'm going to have to cut this video short again. What that will probably mean is I'll go ahead and get all this situated and then start the installation process. So unfortunately that means I'll probably end up skipping the installation of the motherboard and this, which will then just leave the cabling to be done, which I guess I'll do that on the second to final video. The final video will be me trying to either get it up and running or my probably just showing it off at the end. Anyways, I'm the Black Glacier. Hope you have a good day, good evening, wherever you are, and have a howling good time. Peace.